Today on Investigate TV Plus, whipping up danger.
Parents probably have no idea what that is. If they saw it in their kid's backpack, they wouldn't know.
A gas normally found in dentist offices and kitchens, sold in colorful candy-like packaging, hides a potentially deadly consequence.
My fear is that it's getting in the hands of these young kids and that somebody else is going to die from it.
We investigate this dangerous high, how it's regulated, and hear from those sounding the alarm.
Plus, one victim, one shooter, and a second chance.
I will show Mr. Allison, I just made a mistake.
But his victim wasn't convinced.
He's just a good liar. He needs to spend the rest of his life in jail.
We explore how a program designed to open dialogue between crime victims and offenders left him without any doubts.
Then, focal point.
I want to be that person that's at the end of the storm that can kind of capture you and remind you of not only who you were, but what you have became.
A photographer isn't just snapping photos, he's inspiring self-esteem.
In-depth stories that inform and inspire. You're watching Investigate TV Plus. The hiss of nitrous oxide, a common sound in dentist offices and kitchens. In dentistry, the colorless gas helps soothe the patient during an uncomfortable procedure. Chefs employ it to create airy mousses or rapidly pickle vegetables. But for an increasing number of people, nitrous is an easy, dangerous, and in many places, illegal high. I'm Tisha Powell.
And I'm Lee Zurich. Nitrous oxide is commonly known as laughing gas, and users often breathe it directly from canisters or fill balloons and then inhale the gas. Nitrous abuse can cause a range of serious health problems, including asphyxiation, blood clots, brain damage, and psychiatric disturbances.
Investigative reporter Josie Sturman digs into the legal loopholes that leave young people vulnerable to this drug and introduces us to a mother fighting to protect other children after the loss of her own son.
Colorful canisters with a sinister secret popping up in vape stores, gas stations, and all over the internet, offering a potentially deadly high. It's the science behind that serenity you feel when you breathe deeply through a mask in the dentist chair. And the pressured air that pumps the fluffy texture into the whipped cream topping on your favorite dessert. Nitrous oxide is also becoming increasingly popular with young people, using it as a recreational drug.
But parents probably have no idea what that is. If they saw it in their kid's backpack, they wouldn't know.
Unaware that nitrous oxide is readily available for sale with little oversight across the country, marketed in colorful packaging with enticing flavors. It's sold not just in smaller containers known as whipped cream chargers that give a single high, but in tanks big enough to supply dozens of hits by filling nitrous balloons or inhaling straight from the bottle.
To know that my son's life was taken because somebody wanted to get high was a very hard pill to swallow.
Candy Morris's son, Maddox Bias, was a recent high school graduate and aspiring carpenter. In February 2024, his life would be cut short on this Oklahoma roadway. Maddox was riding in a car driven by a woman prosecutors say was huffing nitrous behind the wheel. She passed out, crashing into trees.
I find peace in that. The last thing I said to him was that I loved him.
He knew.
He knew.
Morris is now on a mission to make sure no one else pays the cost of this high-stakes game, which centers around a legal product that she and many others believe is being sold for illicit use in plain sight. It's something our national investigative team confirmed is happening across the country. Nitrous tanks marketed as whipped cream chargers and culinary products being sold not at restaurant supply stores, but at dozens of vape shops, gas stations, and convenience stores from Pennsylvania to Tennessee, Arizona to Oregon, and the Carolinas. We also discovered a robust online marketplace for nitrous tanks, with retail giants and smaller companies selling eye-catching, mouth-watering options like bubble gum, cookies and cream, and strawberry splash-flavored bottles.
My fear is that it's getting in the hands of these young kids and that, that somebody else is going to die from it.
Studies show injuries and ER visits are on the rise. America's Poison Center saw a nearly 60% spike last year in intentional nitrous exposures. And an uptick in adverse reports to the Food and Drug Administration prompted a public warning from the agency in March, naming products like Miami Magic, Baking Bad, and Galaxy Gas, as well as major retailers who sell them, including Walmart, Amazon, and eBay.
My constant complaint about the FDA is that they talk, but they don't act. And now we need to see action.
Congressman Raja Krishnamurthy, who previously led the crackdown on the sale of vapes and e-cigarettes targeted to young people, believes there's room for stronger federal regulation on nitrous. Right now, individual cities and states are stepping in, but it's a patchwork of regulation that varies greatly.
It shouldn't depend on where you live in terms of how your children are protected from this substance.
Enforcement can become complex, factually specific, and therefore resource intensive for the FDA.
Kathy Hoke leads the Legal Resource Center for Public Health Policy at the University of Maryland School of Law.
These products say on here, not for medical use, do not inhale. How clear does that keep these companies in terms of their liability?
So again, that helps them for sure, because they are going to say that they have put on the product what the use of the product is. But if you look at the whole circumstances, and again, the rest of the packaging doesn't strike me as something that Gordon Ramsay is going to use in Hell's Kitchen.
There are no strikes and home runs for Candy Morris anymore since her son's passing. She's swapped the cheering section at the stadium for visits to his baseball-themed gravesite.
I try to draw strength from that and just remind myself to keep going because he would want me to keep going.
We repeatedly contacted every company mentioned in the FDA's warning but got no response. Walmart has now stopped selling nitrous tanks, but they were still available on both Amazon and eBay, with the companies telling us they're updating policies to ensure appropriate enforcement and implementing proactive safety measures to prevent the sale of prohibited products. In-depth coverage of our investigation continues on InvestigateTV.com. Just type high stakes in the search bar.
Still ahead, Parkinson's disease nearly took away an artist's ability to create. But a revolutionary procedure restored his steady hand. We provide insight into what some consider a life-changing surgery.
But first, second thoughts.
She says, Don, I have a question for you. So, okay, what's that? Do you think you did the right thing this morning?
A conversation leads to a journey of healing and understanding. We examine a program providing an opportunity for closure, and in some cases, a second chance.
You can watch Investigate TV Plus anytime online. Just subscribe to our YouTube channel at Investigate TV. You can catch stories and full episodes. The Longman Dictionary defines second chance as help given to someone who has failed in the hope that they will succeed this time. The choice to give someone a second chance can be difficult and sometimes deeply personal, especially for someone who is the victim of a crime.
In the criminal justice system, a second chance can start with a program called Victim Offender Mediation, or VOM. VOM is a process where victims of crime and the person who harmed them meet to discuss the crime and its impact. In each case, the victim must initiate the dialogue and both parties must agree to participate. Additionally, the offender must be willing to take responsibility for what they did and the harm it caused.
In Louisiana, VOM helped one victim decide if he'd done the right thing opposing probation for the man who tried to kill him 2 decades earlier.
Reporter Gabriella Mercurio examines the program that brought these two men together.
Don Allison can still picture the night his life changed.
It was probably 11:30 p.m. I was surprised. A guy who jumped out from a bush, and he jumped and had a gun in my face like this.
A man took everything he had and shot him twice. One of the bullets hit his right thigh and traveled out his left, just missing the main artery in Don's leg. It did not take long for police to find who pulled the trigger. Marcus Sheffin was arrested and found guilty of attempted second-degree murder and armed robbery. His sentence? 95 years in prison without parole.
I wasn't mad, I wasn't upset. I robbed and shot this guy, so my punishment was my punishment.
As Marcus began his time behind bars, he started working on himself by taking classes and even learning a trade.
I said I am going to get myself in a position as whenever I go up for parole, I will show Mr. Allison, I just made a mistake.
20 years into his sentence, he was going to get that opportunity thanks to a change in the law requiring Marcus to get a parole hearing.
No. There's not going to be a parole hearing. The judge said he wasn't eligible for parole.
At the hearing, Marcus pled his case, but Don wasn't convinced.
He's just a good BSer. He's just a good salesman. He's just a good liar. He needs to spend the rest of his life in jail.
The board agreed and denied Marcus's parole.
My wife was in the car with me. She says, "Don, I have a question for you." So, okay, what's that? "Do you think you did the right thing this morning?" "I don't know if I did the right thing this morning, but now I've got to find out."
Don set out to see for himself if Marcus was just a really good liar. That's when he found the Department of Corrections Victim Offender Dialogue Program. It's offered to victims who might still have unanswered questions, or, like Don, are wanting to see if their offender has changed. The victim and offender meet separately with 2 facilitators to learn more about each other before deciding if they can have a face-to-face meeting together. After 3 years, Don was ready to see Marcus.
When he first walked in the room, it got emotional immediately. I mean, he wasn't even inside the door yet, and it got emotional.
And he told me it was going to be all right.
And I looked him in the eye and I said, "Okay, I accept your apology."
Really, it wasn't about the parole thing. It was more because I hurt him, and that wasn't me.
I'm going to help you get your release from prison. I'm going to request another parole hearing for you. And at that parole hearing, I'm going to testify in favor of your release.
Hearing those words and believing that. I was a person that had 95 years. Hearing somebody that you shot and robbed and telling you it's going to be all right, I'm going to help you go home.
In February of 2020, with Don's help, the parole board agreed to send Marcus home.
The first thing they said, go make Mr. Allison proud.
That's been Marcus's goal every day for the last 5 years.
It's still unreal.
He's living on his own, working a stable job, and has turned the trade he learned behind bars into a side job.
It hasn't been perfect, but it's been my perfect. I tell people all the time, don't let your pride get the best of you. I think Mr. Allison is like my guardian angel. I worry about him, but I feel like he worry about me more than I worry about him.
Marcus!
So, how you doing, brother? Without him taking a chance, a second chance, and saying, let me see who Marcus really is. I love him. Without him, I wouldn't be here.
Both Don and Marcus believe they would never be where they are today if it weren't for the Department of Corrections Victim Offender Dialogue Program or the Louisiana Parole Project, which helps people like Marcus get a second chance and are dedicated to helping them be successful when they get back in their communities. In Baton Rouge, I'm Gabriela Mercurio.
Louisiana is one of more than 20 states that offers victim offender dialogue. Eligibility varies by state. In all programs, the victim must initiate the process. And this story shows the power of second chances, but forgiveness.
Yeah, and just thinking that he leaves the parole board that one day and his wife says that to him, and it just changed everything, and he forgave, and look, Marcus is a better person now too.
And now they have a relationship.
They have a great relationship. I love that. Still to come, inspiring confidence and courage.
It's when they look at the photo and first thing out their mouth, "Oh, that's me. I didn't know that I can look like that." And I think at that point, that's when the confidence starts coming.
How a photographer helps people who've survived a life-changing event tell their story.
But first, gaining control. A revolutionary treatment allows some patients with Parkinson's disease to improve their quality of life. We examine deep brain stimulation and how it helped an artist to create again.
Our in-depth coverage continues. You can get connected to Investigate TV Plus on all social media platforms. It's been called one of the most important therapeutic advancements in the treatment of Parkinson's disease.
Deep brain stimulation, or DBS, is a surgical therapy that addresses some of Parkinson's most disabling symptoms. Exactly how DBS works is not completely understood, but many experts believe it regulates abnormal electrical signaling patterns in the brain. To control normal movement, brain cells communicate with each other using electrical signals. In Parkinson's disease, these signals become uncoordinated, which leads to motor symptoms like tremor.
Reporter Tom Powell shows how this surgery was life-changing for an artist in Phoenix.
Bill Daggett fell in love at a young age.
My first love was probably at about 6th or 7th grade.
But it wasn't with a junior high crush.
I used to walk to school at my grade school, and I'd walk by this artist resident, and he would always be carving in his patio and inside the house, and I stopped and looked at it and said, oh my God.
Daggett was hooked. He developed his sculpting skill over the years, and people noticed.
I was getting some advice from some very good friends that are artists, and they said, you need to be in the shows.
It was at one of those art shows where a doctor noticed Daggett's hands shaking.
It got me off to the side and talked to me in private and said, have you been diagnosed?
He visited doctors at Barrow Neurological Institute in Phoenix, who confirmed Bill had Parkinson's.
With Mr. Daggett, he had what many patients experience, both tremors that were not responding to medication, as well as really significant severe side effects from medications.
A double whammy, Dr. Francisco Ponce says made Daggett a good candidate for what's called deep brain stimulation surgery, or DBS. It's a pacemaker for the brain that once surgically inserted sends electrical pulses to stop tremors.
And now after hearing and the team that I've got, I'm very excited to look.
Mr. Daggett, who's an artist, was not able to perform his art before because of these tremors. And once he had this in place and the neurologist activated the system, his symptoms were being controlled.
That's magic.
It is magic. It was a miracle.
Daggett was able to start up that love he found in grade school again, using his now steadier hands to create these incredible pieces of art out of twisted juniper. He was also able to reclaim simpler parts of his life.
I couldn't even eat, hardly. I was shaking so bad, and I didn't want to go out anymore. That's part of the depression. You don't want to be seen when you can't hold a fork and get it to your mouth.
Now he has his confidence back, thanks to his DBS surgery, using his new lease on life to give these pieces of wood a new life of their own.
In Bill's case, deep brain stimulation was transformative, but DBS is not for everyone, and it's not a cure.
DBS is approved for people who have had Parkinson's disease for at least 4 years and benefit from medication but still have motor complications. DBS typically works best to lessen stiffness, slowness, and tremor. It doesn't work as well for imbalance or freezing. And DBS may worsen memory problems, so the procedure is not recommended for people with dementia.
Up next,
1, 2, 3.
a photographer inspires empowerment through his portraits.
There we go. Very nice.
We introduce you to this man behind the lens.
You can watch Investigate TV Plus anytime streaming online. Get the app for Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV. It's free to download.
Photographs are markers in time. Strung together, they can tell your life story.
One photographer uses his talent to help women who have been through illness or tragedy to own their story and boost their confidence. Reporter Deborah Alfarone introduces us to the Empowerment Project.
One click at a time.
1, 2, 3.
One pose at a time.
Turn ahead, look that way.
Photographer Brian Silver of Northern Virginia isn't just taking photos, he's helping build self-esteem.
It's when they look at the photo and first thing out their mouth, oh, that's me. I didn't know that I can look like that. And I think at that point, that's when the confidence starts coming.
This photo shoot is part of what's called the Empowerment Project. The Air Force veteran turned photographer is snapping photos for free for women who've been through life-shattering events. You've been through hell.
I have. It was definitely an emotional roller coaster. Worst 2 years of my life, but I'm still here.
Jessica Hilton is surviving stage 3 breast cancer. The mom of 2 served in the military, was stationed in Afghanistan, and says fighting cancer was far tougher.
When I just went for my recent checkup, he was actually surprised that I'm still alive, and he's like, we actually didn't think you were gonna make it.
Here we go. Very nice.
Silver has been snapping her journey ever since. He's photographed 300 people. Some are domestic violence or sex trafficking survivors. Others, like Jessica, have battled cancer or other illnesses.
I want to be that person that's at the end of the storm that can kind of capture you and remind you of not only who you were, but what you have became.
Silver says his passion to empower women comes from his role model, his grandmother who raised him.
For me, it started at a young age, and I credit all that to my grandmother. You know, nonprofits giving back. So I credit everything I do today because of her.
I was a little nervous the first shoot, but he definitely made me feel very confident. When I got my pictures back, I was like, that's me. I was like, I look like a damn goddess. I was like, I didn't know I could look like that. And he's like, yeah, it's you.
Jessica says the pictures help tell the story of what she's been through and what she's becoming. She found bodybuilding as a way to channel her energy towards something positive. Now she does it competitively.
She is more confident, more comfortable in front of the lens. And she's made me a better person too.
You can take my tatas, you can take my hair, but you will never take my fight. And I live by that, because no one's gonna take my fight away.
Well, that's it for us on Investigate TV Plus. I'm Tisha Pell.
And I'm Lee Zurich. Thanks for watching.
On the next Investigate TV Plus, some nursing homes around the country are suing residents' families, trying to get money for unpaid bills.
They are facing lawsuits that have huge financial consequences on them, and that should not be happening.
We take an in-depth look at the fine print in admissions agreements and hear how 2 women fought back when they were sued for thousands of dollars.